Let's talk about money, power, and the global chessboard of international trade. When I met Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, I wanted real answers. Billions of dollars, American jobs, and smart deals are on the line. If you care about your paycheck and America's future, you'll want to hear this.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here today. Mr. Secretary, I think I'm like most Americans. I agree with some of the things that you and the White House have done on tariffs, disagree with others. It's clear to me that the President listens to your advice about tariffs, so I want to spend my precious time trying to understand how you think. If Vietnam, for example, came to you tomorrow and said, okay, Mr. Secretary, you win. We're going to remove all tariffs and all trade barriers. Would the United States please do the same? Would you accept that deal?
I asked him, if Vietnam dropped all tariffs, would we do the same? He said, absolutely not. Why? He claims Vietnam is just a pass-through for Chinese goods. I pressed him on reciprocity, fair play. First he dismissed it. Then he said that's what they're negotiating.
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. That would be the silliest thing we could do.
Why is that?
Vietnam has a $125 billion exports to us and imports from us $12.5 million. And you're thinking, Vietnam exports $125 billion?
I'm aware of the figures, but tell me
where do they get it from? They buy $90 billion from China, then they mark it up and send it to us.
So they're
just a pathway of China to us.
You wouldn't accept that deal?
No, it's a terrible deal. We're the one with money. We're the one with the store. Of course they want us to take down.
What's the purpose of reciprocity then? Is reciprocity not one of your goals? Are you telling the President that we shouldn't seek reciprocity? If that's what you're telling him, why are you trying to do these trade deals?
What do we want? We want to encourage Vietnam to produce products they're great at producing.
But I want to get back to reciprocity. You just said you don't believe in it. You don't accept reciprocity as a goal. What are you negotiating in these trade deals?
Why would we open our bank account and their bank account when
why
ours
are
is
you
10 times
negotiating
bigger?
trade deals? You're trying to get other countries to lower their tariffs and trade barriers in return for us lowering ours.
That's true for the things that they'll take from us.
That's called reciprocity.
Of course.
So are you or are you not seeking reciprocity in these trade deals?
We are absolutely seeking reciprocity with respect to things that can be reciprocal.
But you just said,
but when they're importing from China and sending it to us, they're not.
You just said that if a country came to you and offered you the ultimate reciprocity, no tariffs, no trade barriers, in return for us doing the same, you would reject that.
Of course, because they buy from China and send it to us. Don't you agree with me?
Suppose they said we won't buy from China.
Now we're talking.
The truth came out, this isn't just about tariffs. It's about reshoring, bringing key industries like pharmaceuticals and semiconductors back home. But are trade deficits always bad? Not necessarily. It's about what we're importing, not just how much. Things got uncomfortable fast. I asked about the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, a law giving the president broad tariff powers. He didn't recognize it even though he's used it. Then I mentioned the Major Questions Doctrine, which limits agency power. He'd read the case, but wasn't clear on the concept. When you're making billion-dollar decisions, you better know the law.
Tell me your understanding of the Trade Expansion Act.
I don't have a really good understanding of the term. I may know the act, but I may not know its title.
You're not familiar with the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 that gives the president almost unlimited authority to impose tariffs so long as you conduct an investigation? You don't know about that?
Oh, my 232s, of course I do.
Okay.
Sorry, I just didn't know the title of the plan, but of course I know.
Why didn't you advise the White House instead of proceeding under other statutes? Why didn't you advise the White House to proceed under the Trade Expansion Act?
The president chose IEEPA because he could do it swiftly and he could do it sweeping in order to address the underlying problems that had created the $1.2 trillion trade deficit that was haunting the United States of America.
Have you read the opinion in VOS selections, VUS?
I have.
What role does the major questions doctrine play in that decision?
I am not a lawyer, so I can't speak to it with that kind of precision. That's a litigation that's under current investigation.
Are you familiar with the major questions doctrine?
Not offhand, but I did, of course, read the decision.
Well, about 3/4 of the opinion is on the major questions doctrine.
Again, I tend to not know the title. I know the topic and the details of it, but I tend not to focus on titles. Sorry.
I'm way over. Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy, thank you. Senator Shaheen.
Let's be honest, a lot of these trade partners aren't playing fair. Vietnam imports from China, tweaks it, and sells it to us at a markup. The real deal? Stop the shell game. Focus on real partnerships, not just paperwork. Trade isn't just about numbers, it's about strategy. Should we make crucial products ourselves? Yes. Rely on foreign suppliers for everything? No. We need trade policies that protect America, not just help foreign middlemen. So what did we learn? Even top decision makers dodge questions. Tariffs, trade deficits, global competition, it's all connected. Without transparency, we're just playing defense. I'll keep asking the hard questions. Someone has to. Like, comment, and subscribe. Because this is your future.